Thank you. My glasses are hard to look through. I did bring something to read today. Um, the other day, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
The other day, was talking about how the Buddha was very, very clear and would state very firmly that he was not, is not not it. That Buddhism and the Buddha is not him. That it's not the man. And we talked about how um, that people want somehow to have that a person who is teaching to be it, to be the thing, to be Buddhism, or to have a name, to have it somehow be graspable. I can't see anything with these. And how Jesus had the same problem, and it wasn't until really that he had died that people started talking about him as a god, but he wasn't there to say, "Will you knock it off?" Because that's how he was in the early stages. Do not think of bringing this from the Father, meaning something much greater than myself. And I was, I don't know why that sort of spurred something in me, because what I'm talking about really isn't that at all, and yet somehow it came up out of this, what he was talking about. And what kept coming to me as a vision, not a vision, but something I remember so vividly, so my memory is very visual, so very much think, and that was many, many years ago, being in a tidal pool of the coast of California. And in that tidal pool was first of all, there were several people there. There was somebody who was teaching, I think, of children, except I don't remember the children, but I think that there were. And in that tidal pool was a sea anemone, which is, I don't know if it's animal, vegetable, or mineral, to tell you the truth, but it's, I would say that it is an animal that lives fastened to a rock, let's say, to a solid thing. And the other thing in the tidal pool was a starfish that was, starfish move around, but not very much. And it was attached also to the wall of this rock that was where the tide would just come in. And I watched from a distance for a while, and then I decided, well, this isn't a something where nobody else can go. I can go in there and not be intruding. And so I walked over there, and as I walked over, I could see these two animals flattened against the rock, and the rock was maybe, not that huge, and they were sort of in it like that, and then as I approached, and I was walking in, the sea came rolling in and covered the entire tidal pool. And when the water went out, the sea anemone its mouth was open, it was absorbing everything, and the starfish was quivering, kind of thing. I mean, really, I know nothing about these, so this was my first and only encounter with these wonderful beings in the ocean. And then it went out, and then they became still, and the sea anemone closed itself up like that again. So you couldn't really see that it had it was an organism, you know what I mean? And then it would go back out and then come back and this thing. And I was just dumbfounded in a way. I mean, it's not like I'd never heard of it or anything like that. I'd never seen it. And that's one image that came to me after this talk about how the Buddha is, that Gautama is not the guy, is not the man. It's just some quality. And I thought about, I've been spending a week thinking about why I connect these two things. And the other thing that comes to me is the fact. I was in the Marine Museum or whatever it is down in Norwalk, and I watched a video there. I guess it was some child's birthday, and we saw a movie kind of thing, and I learned about the Arctic tern, which is a seabird. And we were informed, and I have no reason to doubt, that it's every year at a certain time, it flies off from the North Pole to the South Pole. They do not stop. In other words, there's no place where they sit down and take a nap or anything like that. They are flying from the North Pole, from the Arctic, let's say, to the Antarctic. They just take off. They all go, and then there was some speculation about how long they're there and what they might be doing. But they turn around almost immediately and come back, and so they spend their entire year going back and forth, and when I remembered that, I saw the connection. And if I can read, which I should be able to do. It made me. Then this came to me, and this was sort of this morning, actually. This is the 19th Psalm, and the Psalms are arranged in a kind of chronological order, in the sense that the chronology represents the way the teachings are organized. So this is coming after the Psalms that are telling you how to be a good person, pretty much. So that's kind of, then this opens up into this. The heavens are telling the glory of God, and the firmament proclaims his handiwork. Day to day pours forth speech, and night to night declares knowledge. There is no speech, nor are there words, yet their voice is not heard, yet their voice goes out through all of the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In the heavens he has set a tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom from his wedding canopy. And like a strong man runs his course from end to end of the heavens, and its circuit to the end of them, and nothing is hid from them. Moreover, by them is your servant warned. In keeping them there is your great reward. And so it goes on about how once you realize this, the repetition, the coming and the going, this is the knowledge. This is the knowledge that the Buddha transmitted along with. Really, it's just amazing. And all of these things, like the ocean crashing over these marvelous animals so they can breathe and live, and going back, and the tide was really strong that day, so going back, and then coming back and forth, never stops. It just gets shorter, smaller, and then it comes back again. That day I was walking on the beach and I saw a sea lion right next to me. I mean, I was just walking where the water came up, and the sea lion, and then I saw, I turned around and went back, and the sea lion was right along with me, and he was walking with me. And so it's a day that I remember with such gladness, with happiness and amazement. And it reminded me of this, like every day is a wonderful day. Every day the sun comes up and it's something joyful. And it reminds me, I haven't seen a sutta where that particular joyfulness is more than just spoken of, like gladness. But that's, I know that's what they're talking about. It's the gladness of everything. And having read some of the things from the Chinese Buddhism, the monks who followed through and became enlightened. Even though their lives were very hard, and the government was always taking things away and killing people, and then glorifying them. They didn't know what was going on. But it expresses the joyfulness of discovering this truth, if one can call it. I mean, it just does not stop. It goes on and on and on, and all the astronomers in the world speak how it goes on and on and on. They're always looking for some way to make that different, to make it more interesting. But it's always back with you. You're born, you're a star, right? You get born, and then you go into this black hole, and then the black hole dumps you out on the other side, and you become another star. And it goes on and on and on and on. Whether the stars feel joy or not, I don't know. But when I see that, and it's expressed so beautifully in this, not read very well, but expressed so beautifully. I appreciate that the Buddha and other people who people thought of as gods or as knowing everything, that they shared this information and emphasized it. Because a lot of us, when we wake up in the morning, we go, my husband this morning said, "There's a bee in the house." Is that all? But I mean, that's where you wake up and you think, "Oh, I have to do this. I didn't do the dishes last night. I better do them this morning." I'm missing this gloriousness of the sun coming up, and it's a beautiful day, which is always very nice. And my point is here, if I'm making a point at all, is that it's really important to understand that no matter what the Buddha said, or what our teachers say, or what we tell ourselves, it's not it. That's not it. What is it? I can't tell you, not from my experience, but all I can see is that everything, that the joyfulness that comes from this, from knowing this, or from witnessing it, even if you don't remember from day to day, is a treasure, which is given to us through the teachings, and even the boring teachings. It's all there. I think of him saying, what is it? When the Buddha is talking to this sort of clan, I can't think of their name. We know their name, and he's saying, "You Kalamas, you Kalamas." There's something so wonderful about it. Don't do this, don't do that. But it's so full of this energy, this joyful energy, that it moves me, and I laugh a little bit too. You Kalamas, like, it's like saying, "Don't forget." And I have spoken for 15 minutes, and I think that's enough. So, anyone has anything they would like to say or about this or anything else, I'd be glad to hear it.
I was, thank you so much. I love the anemone and the sea star, and sometimes I think, what's the difference between a clam and myself? A clam that just soaks up whatever comes its way, and there's not a lot of will involved in, I gotta get it my way, but it just filters what comes along. I don't know, there's something about we're so hold on to our concepts, and the moment we have a wonderful experience, we conceptualize it and say, these are the elements that make it great, and then we try to get those elements right in order again, and it doesn't deliver, because we moved it into the conceptual world instead of having it happen as a clam discovers its treasure of, I don't know, dirt that it feeds on. Our nature is to experience, and then it's our nature to really explain it and to make sure that this doesn't happen and that doesn't happen, and we get all tangled up in those thought patterns. And limitations. I just appreciated the image, and that joy also reminded me of a koan about a Chinese poet or a Chinese monk who said that the house burned down, now I can see the moon.
Yes.
That joy.
Yeah. Did you? I don't know if you read. There was a wonderful Italian writer. His name was I can't think of it right now. It's a wonderful name, but it's just I don't want to spend too much time looking for it. But he wrote about one of his stories was about a mollusk, some sort of mollusk and the mollusk loved his creator or her creator, and she would, every time that she or he would be aware of that, the shell would grow, and it would make so it became like the shell became the expression of the love that this mollusk had for her creator. And of course, it was one of the beautiful ones with all the. Yes, I mean yes. Yeah. Just to discover these things that then we want to hold on, but I'm very glad that I heard about. I've heard thinking about the Buddha saying, "Don't look at me. It's not me. I'm just telling you about it." And I guess for the psalm is just telling about it too, but it opens the door, for us to experience these things, to understand the kind of joy that they're talking about, and to understand that is what we're doing here. It's not a debate club, although that's part of what people like to do, and I don't think it hurts anything. I don't maybe it does. Anybody else? Yes.
It wasn't the focus of your talk, but I really connected at the end when you said that you don't know what it is. And also that this isn't really a debate club. And I know for me in my practice, when I can drop out of my opinions, drop out of thinking whatever machinations are going on into just what's right here. And I don't know what it is very healing for me. And I also appreciated talking about how the Buddha isn't some kind of God figure or something. He's somebody, Buddha is just somebody pointing the way, talking about his experience.
Thank you. Nina, you want to say something?
Similar to the horse story, maybe some of the people shouldn't bring it up because that was another talk, but these animals, the anemone and the starfish, are completely passive. All they're doing is staying still in one place, I guess it takes a certain amount of effort to remain rooted to the rock, but they're not doing anything. It's like this practice, developing the stillness to receive, this nutrition that's coming from the water. But then it's also just so contrary to us. If we're hungry, we have to figure out, no, I have this hunger, so what am I going to eat? It's all this effort to just even get food. For them, it's not. And it's just such a type of existence that's not imaginable. And I think Frank mentioned the word, they're filtering. They're just, they're filter feeders. They're just waiting there for their needs are met as long as they can stay in that one place. And
As long as somebody else doesn't eat them. So there are risks there too, Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. It's interesting. Did you want to say something? Oh,
I'm more just reflecting, and I think many people have touched on it, but as all are sharing, I'm reflecting on our relationship to effort and how we don't go through life with such effortlessness, or at least many of us don't. I definitely have my moments. But that there is, we said it earlier about there's these concepts and we grasp to that and we recreate them. And that really becomes what replaces the coming and the going, right? It's this I choose, or I think I'm choosing when I'm going, and that time, right? And even though it's happening around us, there in our mind is this experience of, well, I'm actually in charge and I'm doing this. And that is where so much of the discomfort and the suffering, there's a part of us that knows it isn't, I think it is, yet we continue to go after it. And so I think about how that relationship is reinforced and strengthened, and the process to just ease up and be that little creature on the rock and just let it flow. And it's just so subtle, and yet it's so powerful. It's one of those simple but profound things. So I think I'm just reflecting on how that has been in my life and people around me, and just the world in general.
Are you leaping for the door?
No.
Oh, no?
I'm thinking about his reflection on the Dharma that Tavi spoke about yesterday, and which says that the difference between Christianity or other religions, that there is a God or there is not a God in this. And there is really very little difference between the two, because it's just how you I think in a way you imagine it to be. And this forces and conditions and these forces that are way beyond us, that are not in our control. Of course, in some religions, that's made into a person, a man with a white beard and some symbol in his hand, and that is God. But that is just a particular byroad of the imagination, that this force is way, way, way beyond us. That it's really good to remember that there is so much that's not in our control. And also really good to see that some things are in control, that we have some choices, that we don't have a choice in what happens, but we have a choice in our reaction, and we have a choice in how we accept that or direct it or suffer from it, or that there is this huge difference in that we are part of creation and create this reality. So I think it's a wonderful talk and not worthy of going for the door.
Well, we have 5 minutes. I know that you want to be out and on the road.
I'm sorry.
I'm not throwing you out. We could probably stop now. If someone else has an observation that they'd like to share with us, not required. Oh, okay.
I think for me, I'm going back to your phrase, don't forget. At some point in your talk, you said the phrase, don't forget.
Yeah.
And that's been really playing in my brain since you've said it. And I kind of replaced don't forget with remember. And there's something about our practice or my practice that when I really settle into it, it helps me remember. And the thing that helps me remember doesn't feel intellectual. It doesn't feel like a knowledge. But I remember from a place of some form of truth that I just know that that's real, though I can't explain what that is. And it feels like the more I do my practice, the more I remember. And the more I remember in more frequent moments, it allows me to then enjoy the creatures on the rock, enjoy the sunshine, the sun that rises in the morning. And it feels so much more real about life.
Yeah.
Than when I don't remember or I do forget. It almost feels analogous to eating a lot of empty calories. That I'm going through a lot of my day.
We all know what that's like.
Yeah, I'm going through a lot of my day, my weeks, my months, doing, forcing, making things happen, going after goals, creating conditions of, let me bring these people to my house so I can feel that joyful moment again. And it just never feels satiated. But then when I remember, no matter what I do,
it's just there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you, everybody. Oh, yes. Sorry.
Chime in real quickly.
Can you talk a little bit louder so that I really am? There's an acoustics problem when you sit here.
I wasn't speaking up either. The anonymity, or whatever, idea gets me to thinking a little bit about the idea of nirvana, which I've been thinking about some lately. But if the world was nothing but filter feeders, there wouldn't be any food in the water for them to feed on, or very little. And I believe the starfish is actually a predator.
Yeah, I think that might be. They don't cling to the rock permanently. They let themselves go down into the water. Probably it was planning to eat the sea anemone.
Some are more docile, I'm sure. But nonetheless, the idea of being an entity sounds placid and enjoyable, but for how long would that be to just go with the flow? It's to me it feels like, Buddha said, I guess, if that's so true for or not, that life is suffering and struggle and effort and goals and failures and successes, and it's all about the yin and the yang. And so I'm constantly kind of thinking, what I was thinking about nirvana is that nirvana, being a state of being like the enemy, it's very, you have to not be bothered by anything. You have to not care about anything. And for how long can that go on? A state of being where you care about nothing and nothing perturbs you. There's certainly no happiness in that existence. I could see it being enjoyable for a number of minutes or days or something like that, but it feels like it's really more of a goal. It's the process and the struggle and failures of trying to get there, and maybe getting there right before they put dirt on you.
That's where all the great novels come from, that struggle.
Maybe the key is really more trying to appreciate the struggle, and appreciate the pain, and appreciate the difficulties and the sufferings.
That's so true.
So that they're not self-ruling.
Right. We are ready to go. It is now 11:30. I am rushing home because my daughter and grandchildren are coming, and my granddaughter is going to help me with my new phone because I am completely helpless. She's 15 and she knows everything. So, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Somehow I'm caught up in this.